What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? We are live. It's 2023, and you know, a lot of people are setting New Year's resolutions, and I think that's great. I think the more folks who have a New Year's resolution, the better. Uh, but what we know from data and from science and from statistics and studies that have been out there, folks who actually set New Year's resolutions, they rarely achieve them. Um, and it's tough because uh, I think the number is somewhere around 8%. So only if there's 100 people who set a New Year's resolution, only 8% of them, or only 8 people, will actually reach that uh, goal or that thing they've resolved in their mind to do this new year. Um, so that makes it a little bit tough, right? Because that means 92 of those 100 people are actually failing. By definition, they are failing to reach their goal. Um, and why is that? Why do people fail to reach their goals? Well, um, one thing is like maybe it's not achievable. Maybe it's not realistic. Maybe they don't really have a timeline on it. There's all these things you can Google about SMART goals. But I think the main thing that'll probably be shocking to you is that most people don't achieve their goals because they don't set them. That's right. Most people won't even make a New Year's resolution. So, to give you an idea, so let's say 100 people set a New Year's resolution. Only 8 of those folks are actually going to probably actually carry through or achieve that resolution. Um, but in addition to that, uh, let's say roughly, you can call it maybe 500 people. I think that's the number. Yeah, 500 people um, will actually not even set a goal at all. So if you got 500 people, the statistics say that of those 500 people, 100 of them will try to set a goal. Only 100. Of the 500 people, only 100 of them will try to set a goal. And of that 100, only 8 of them will likely achieve it, especially as it pertains to a new year resolution. Well, hey, we're in a new year and it's exciting, right? Because hopefully you're not of that group that's not setting goals at all. But if you are, you're exactly who I want to talk to today because not setting a goal is the most surefire way that you're not going to reach the goal if you don't set it at all. And so, why is that? Um, why do we find ourselves not being willing to even set the goals? And I think it's because, hey, why do you need a goal? Why do you need a plan? Why don't you just, live freely and let whatever come, what may, whatever happens, happens, whatever will be, right? Say la vie, la say, or whatever the saying is. Um, it's like, it's not that important, right? To set goals. Um, but but what I want you to notice is that if you're a person that's considering entrepreneurship, you've got to see yourself a little bit different than than the average. You've got to see yourself as unique. You've got to see yourself as capable. You've got to see your idea as one that would solve someone's problem, right? And if you're seeing yourself as not average, uh, then you have to think about not doing what average people do. So, as it relates to a New Year's resolution or setting a goal, if the average person is not setting a goal, then by definition, if you set a goal, you have automatically did and separated yourself rather from the larger group, the average person. So you've automatically become disassociate it with average. And average we can use synonymously with mediocre or with, run of the mill or what everyone else is doing. So if everyone else is saying, hey, I'm not going to set a goal, right? If we say out of 500 people, only 100 people will actually set a goal, then if you actually set a goal, you by definition are showing that you're not average because you're not doing what average people are doing. Average people are not setting goals. Average people are not thinking forward enough to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do with my year. This is what I'm going to do with my time. This is what I'm going to do with my month. So my appeal to you, my argument to you is that if you're not setting goals, then you are being more average than probably what you'd like to be. If you truly see yourself as not being average, if you truly see yourself as not doing what everyone else is doing, well, I'll tell you right now, most people are not setting goals, right? So if you want to not be like everyone else, I think I just lost power in my house there for a second. If you don't want to be like everyone else, then you've truly got to consider how do I evaluate what makes me different? And one thing that will make you different is setting goals. So I encourage you, set some goals this year. But before you even begin to set them, just consider the fact that, wow, if I even try to set a goal, I'm going to be different from everyone else, from the majority of people. I'm going to be different from the majority of people simply because I'm trying to set a goal. All right. So the other thing I'd say is, as it relates to goals, why people don't set them is, because whether they know it or not, they're complacent and they're being average, right? But another reason is people kind of set goals in their mind, but they never really set them. And what does that mean? Well, if you don't write down your goal, it's not really a goal. And so I think that some people might say, gosh, I haven't thought about it that way. But here's a saying we used to say when I was working in the nonprofit world. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. And this is something that probation officers would kind of deal with their released ex-convicts on. They'd say, hey, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. If you can't document to me where you went and searched for jobs, then I don't believe it ever happened. And so the same goes for goals. When you document it down, then you know for sure that that goal has been established. So writing down your goals is a huge thing. If you want to actually achieve them, it actually increases your likelihood of achieving your goals by about 40%. 40%, that's huge. If you just write down the goal, you're going to increase your likelihood of achieving that goal simply because you wrote it down. So the other thing that would help you achieve your goals is to actually find someone to be held accountable to. So if you don't have a set of friends, if you don't have a set of like-minded people around you, it is your probability of actually reaching your goal is going to decrease. But if you can actually write your goal down, set a goal all the way through by writing it down. And then the third thing you need to do is you got to tell somebody. You got to tell somebody that, hey, this is my goal. This is what I'm focused on doing, because that accountability will actually increase your probability of reaching that goal. Hey, I want to grow my YouTube channel. That's one of my goals. Well, I'm telling like-minded people that. There are people around me that know that is one of my goals. And because that's a goal of mine, it's now, because I've actually told someone else, it makes me more accountable to that goal. So who are you telling your goals to? Who knows about your goals? Who knows about your goals? If no one knows, then you really don't have an accountability partner or someone that can help say, hey, Are you actually going to achieve what you said? And we have a tendency as humans not to want to let people down. So once someone else knows about the goal, it actually will increase our likelihood of actually achieving that goal, because for the simple reason, hey, I don't want to let this person down. I said I was going to do this thing. And so it kind of forces you, or at least it increases your probability of actually trying to reach that goal. So look, we talked about one, if you don't want to be average, just set a goal. Number two is that if you really want to achieve that goal, you need to write it down. Number three is that if you really want to achieve that goal, you need to tell someone else. And if you don't have anyone to tell, I want you to take down my community's number. It's 765-234-3633. And if you text that number, 765-234-3633, and you text goal getters, if you text goals to that group, then you will actually be automatically put into a group of like-minded people who are setting goals. And it's another way to help hold you accountable to that goal. And so the last thing I want to tell you, I've been trying to think of how do I cement this in my brain that goals are so important. And me personally, I've been using goals for a few years now. And what I will say is that every goal that I've written down, I've achieved, or I've gotten very close to achieving it. Let's say it's the number of customers I want to reach. So I'll put that number out there, say 10,000. Well, maybe I didn't reach 10,000, but maybe I came up to like 9,500. So I'm getting very close to the goals, and I think part of it is because I'm just simply writing them down. So writing down your goals is super important. It's worked for me, and I think it will also work for you. But one way to get this cemented in my mind is I came up with an acronym for goals, and here it is. Goals is getting over all losses speedily. GOALS. Getting over all losses speedily. That's what goals. That's one way you can let goals be cemented in your mind and say, "Hey, I'm getting over all losses speedily." A goal. There's some people that say, "Hey, I don't want goals, or that's not for me," and that's fine. It may not be something you want to do, but just logically, simply from a logic standpoint, when you're playing a sport, let's call it soccer or football as they call it overseas. When you're playing that sport, how do you win? Well, if you're losing, if at any point you're losing, you're going to need to get more goals, right, to actually win the game. And so getting over all losses speedily is any area of your life where you feel like you're losing. Whether it's relationships. If I feel like I'm losing in my relationship, I need to set a goal to spend more time in my relationship to achieve the thing I want to see out of my relationship, right? If my relationship is suffering, then I need to dedicate the time and say, hey, here's a goal for my relationship. We're going to go on a date night once a month, or we're going to take a couple big trips every year because I want to intentionally have a goal set for my relationship to grow. So anywhere you're losing in life, it is likely that a goal can increase your probability of winning in that area. Let's say, you want to achieve more money in your life. Well, if you set a goal of a specific dollar amount, you write it down, and you tell a friend, you tell somebody about it, your likelihood of achieving that goal is going to increase, right? And those actual steps you take will help you get over the losses you were experiencing. So getting over all losses speedily. And because you're setting those goals, it's starting to happen speedily because you're getting direction. You're getting direction. One of the famous folks that are motivational and really deal with personal development says, you can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. And so getting over all losses speedily really allows you to start to change the direction of how any area that's losing for you. So if you're losing in the area of your job, if you're losing in the area of real estate, if you're losing in the area of your family or relationships, when you begin to set goals in those areas, you begin to get over all the losses speedily in that area. So I hope that helped you like it helps me. I am dedicated and committed to setting goals. Why? Because I know people who set goals are not average. By definition, most people don't set goals. So if I set them, I'm automatically not average. And I don't want to be average. I don't want to be the run of the mill. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. So if everyone else isn't setting goals, that is encouragement to me to say, hey, I need to set them. And two, I know based on statistics that if I write down my goals, it will increase my likelihood of achieving them. Three, I know that if I tell someone else about my goals, it will increase my likelihood of achieving them. And four, to cement this in my head, goals to me is getting over all losses speedily. So look, I hope that helps you like it helped me. Stay motivated, subscribe to this channel, share this with somebody that in 2023 needs to take their life to the next level. And they can do that by setting goals. All right, I hope you have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, and a great rest of this first month of the new year. Stay motivated. Peace.